Hi friends. Today I'm going to tell you about the cartoon boss Milksucker 2 for me. Tim Templeton grew up, had a family. He started a family and became a housewife. He married a girl named Carol, and she gave Tim two wonderful daughters. Applicant moved up the ladder a lot more. He became a successful businessman. But because of he and his brother hardly ever see each other anymore, and there were old grudges that had built up over the years. Tim tried to get in touch with him for a while, but TT wouldn't return his calls and didn't, or come to visit when he was invited. Despite his brother's success, Tim didn't want to change his life. He was a happy family man who spent his days taking care of with his daughters while Carol earned money. But the trouble was Tabitha was getting older, and she didn't need any more kisses at night, kisses at bedtime, and all the Susu music from her daddy. She wanted to be as successful and influential like Uncle TT. Tim was upset him. So he went up to the attic and found in a box and found his witch doctor. He talked to him, and while they were discussing the situation with that, there was a noise in Tina's room. A noise. Tim ran to check it out and saw the baby's cell phone on the crib. He realized that his little girl was also works at the baby corp, and Tina had confirmed that she'd been sent on a super secret and mega important assignment, and Tim could be useful to her. He's supposed to invite Ted to the New Year's Eve party, but Tim refuses to do it. However, Tina assumed that he would, so she recorded the conversation with her father and edited it into a message for Uncle who were waiting for his daughter. When he heard TT's message, he canceled his appointments the second he heard it and rushed to the dark helicopter. But then the message turned out to be fake. Need help falling off a horse? Tim pretended he'd accidentally recorded it. Then he took his brother into the other room and told him that Tina also works at TT's baby corp. Didn't believe it at first, but then the girl put a pacifier in his and his dad's mouths, and the three of them went to the office of the baby corp, where Tina told them about the danger that threatens the world. The principal of Tabitha's school has a plan. Good versus grown-up. Erwin Armstrong hopes to turn the reins over to the children and force their parents to serve them. That can't happen, so Tina suggests that her father and his brother infiltrate Armstrong's school and find out all his villainous plans. But there's a catch. Only children are allowed in, but Tina has a solution. She's been given a special drug that turns adults into babies for 48 hours, so that Tim and TT and they're drinking that slop in front of Young's eyes. But then Carol and Tabitha come home, and the brothers have to hide from them until Carol sees them, and they pretend they're going fishing, but they're getting ready to infiltrate Tabitha's school. Tina gives a listening device, and Tim gets a flower with a camera to put in the principal's office. The principal's office, when he comes out, Armstrong usually leaves his office at 11:15 a.m. after listening to his daughter's briefing. Tim takes his brother and goes to sleep in. He has a nightmare that he's a bad father. The jury finds defendant Kim dad. Then he wakes up and realizes that he and Ted have missed for the school bus. Carol's already taken her to school, but the Templeton brothers had to use a pony to get to school. Ted gave them this little horse that cost a lot of money for Tabitha, but Tim and the pony somehow didn't hit it off right away. So on the way to school, besides, because of reckless driving, the Templeton brothers destroyed half the town, created a giant snow globe, and almost crushed their family. Carol, Tabitha, and Tina were just driving in the car when this snow globe rolled toward them. But Tina caught it in time and used the handbrake to stop the car. TT and Tim also bushes to take away their clothes, but the kids weren't upset because they got the money that Ted's to lure them in. Tim sent his little brother to the yellow group where the kids drooled and freaked out. He went to the blue group where Tabitha was studying. And there was a boy named Newton. He was a nuisance to everyone. He tried to annoy Tabitha, but Tabitha didn't. But Tabitha didn't pay attention to his jokes, and then the class started, and then Tabitha had to beat everyone up, especially Newton. She answered all the teacher's questions and left the other students behind. TT met his creepy classmates and started planning a time escape in order to place the spy equipment in the principal's office. And the principal's office was running out of time. We had to hurry. Tim also remembered this and asked to go to the bathroom and asked to use the restroom, but it was behind a separate door in the classroom, so Tim had to improvise. He figured that if you started messing around, you'd get sent to the principal's office, so he started to do everything a bully would do, but instead of the principal's office, they put him in a relaxation room where Tim passed out and slept through the whole thing. His brother at this point used glue to leave the kindergarten and headed to the right location. He got to the office and he made it inside by a child who created a robotic adult body. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Recently, he ran away from home and started a life of his own by pretending big. He started a school and began recruiting similarly bright kids. Armstrong planned to use them for the children's revolution. The kids wrote him special program code that he embedded into. When the app is used by adults, the app would zombie them into obeying, and they'll obey any order. Armstrong needs a kid as smart as TT, like TT, who agrees to work with a crazy kid in an adult's body at recess. At recess, he confronts his brother and starts accusing him of not helping Tim with the wiretap. They fight, and Tim walks out. "You, let me down." Tim finds himself outside the music room. He notices the bat she's holding. She and her classmates are preparing for a performance to which a lot of adults, but Tabitha is very shy and can't sing the song properly because. So Nathan makes fun of her, but he doesn't kick her out of the band because he wants her to embarrass Tabitha in front of everyone. When Tim finds out about it, he asks her to come over to help her with her performance. When his parents come to visit to see their grandchildren, Tim looks familiar to them and forget about the Tabitha concert. And she wants so badly to impress her daddy, singing so he'll be proud of her. When Tabitha shows her new friend her room, Tim helps her to loosen up and sing a song like she's been singing her whole life. Singing at dinner, the Templeton brothers realized that time and distance had all but erased their brotherly feelings, and yet they once promised each other they'd always to be together, and now they have a chance to make things right, but they're still going to go it alone. Tina sees this and decides to bring the brothers closer together through their common mission. She suggests that the three of them to stop Armstrong, infiltrate the backstage area during tomorrow night's concert, and create a diversion. Ted's yellow band friends will help to take out Newton, and Tim will be replaced. In the show, instead, Tina will run the operation from the auditorium, and will realize that Tina can talk, and her father and her uncle will understand her. Meanwhile, TT has to stay close to Armstrong so that to disarm him at the decisive moment. The director's robotic suit. Tina will take control and force Armstrong to show his true colors, and they succeed, at least in the first stage of the mission. In the director's special box, Ted discovers that the revolution has already begun as soon as Tabitha takes the stage and starts to sing. She's going to be photographed, at which point Armstrong's app and the adults will turn into obedient zombies. The principal is telling Dew about this because he's sure he can't stop him. Armstrong guesses that Ted and Tim are brothers and that they've come to stop him, orders his tiny little ninjas to grab them and put them in a musical bubble where the water turns on, and the brothers will suffer an unenviable fate. And while as they slowly sink, Tabitha starts to sing. She's doing a magical job, and the adults start taking pictures of her, and as a result, they fall under the hypnosis. Armstrong's bubble. Tim and TT have a heart-to-heart talk and find out that they both regret their breakup. The performance, she got very upset and ran off stage crying. Meanwhile, TT decided to call on his pony to help him. He called her with a special whistle, and the pony broke down the door and saved the brothers at the same moment. Tina told her sister that she works at the baby corp. She also said that their father had been there for them the whole time, but now he was in danger and needed help. Armstrong also started a countdown to the moment when his app for zombieing the world, the whole world will be our playground. To stop him, we need to shut down the server. Tina's using a backup RoboCombat. Armstrong spare RoboCombat with his own Mentos, and the resulting foam floods the whole place. The servers shut down and the zombification of the adults stops, and then Tim and TT become adults again, each of them. They go back to their normal lives, but TT still found time to get out to see his brother for the holidays. When he arrived, the family went outside to play snowballs. After the mission was over, Tina confessed that she had been tasked with more than just to stop the genius kid, but also to bring him to Templeton, and she'd done both tasks successfully. Armstrong was also doing well. He'd abandoned his evil plans. He stopped consuming kilos of white powder and returned to his parents, who were terribly delighted. And